Welcome back, Underleaf friends. I appreciate you joining me for another Monday night of Donnie Does It Painting Edition on our special Mondays we've been doing here. As we're kind of in a little bit of a transitionary period. Our lead producer, my usual producer, Greg, is hopefully still driving across the country and having fun and going to be moving out nearby me very soon. So super excited for him, but that does mean we've had some interruptions in our usual production cycle. So you're stuck with me. But I am also joined tonight again with Chris. How you doing tonight, Chris?
I'm doing okay. Just stressed out from life in general, but
And that's why we do this, right? Just hang
yeah.
out, de-stress, focus on something intentional that we can control and paint and get those creative muscles flowing. And yeah, so definitely glad you could take a little time away because I know you are busy with those high level studies that I'm just not a part of.
Yeah, it's super interesting stuff, man, but I'm gonna have to get used to the flow of this and them not I hesitate to say holding my hand, but more specifically directing me because my brain is like I need more direction. And for this 2,500 word paper, I've got like close to 40 pages of notes. So perhaps I've gone too deep.
Oh, look at that. I just got an update from the Greg, and he's alive and in Missouri and misery. Poor guy. Well, buddy, we're glad you made it safe and look forward to having you back here on the channel soon. So glad you're making it through. But otherwise, everybody, how you all doing tonight out there in chat? Anybody working on anything fun or anything in particular? We're should be working on our Deathwing Knights. We've been making really good progress with these guys. They turning out pretty dang sweet. I did some decals on them, which is how I got that spectacular little writing on the shields, which looked so cool. A little bit of blending and highlights on the swords, but I've done 2 out of 5. I'm gonna batch paint the last 3, I think, to knock them out a little quicker. But we got a painting contest. So the local shop is just started carrying the Pro Acryl paints, and Chris here is a huge proponent of Monuments paints, and I've used a couple. I'm very happy with them. So pick up a couple paints, get to paint a free model. They gave us a old school orc or an old school space marine, and said paint it up, and best painted wins. I don't know what, but I really don't care. So
Yeah, that's kind of where I was with it. I was just excited that they brought in something other than GW paints. With there's nothing wrong with GW paints.
no,
Like there's nothing against it, but I just prefer the way that Pro Acryl flows, and it's easier for me to use straight out of the bottle. Um, I like the coverage a lot better. I like the way it mixes a lot better. Which I always thought when I first started painting, I was like, that's some pretentious BS. Like it does not make a difference. And then you get you get different paints and you're like, oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
well,
Yeah.
yeah, like I mean, once you hit a certain threshold, like starting out, like I couldn't have told you the difference between like a GW paint and a Walmart acrylic paint, but I definitely could now. Like
Yeah.
if I had to like blind test paints, I'd be like, no. But that's part of what comes with it. But honestly, I think it is one of those things. Just like using a good brush, um, it's an instant skill up.
Yeah.
Like, and I will say, like, I think I would recommend these for any beginner painter because the thinning down process is brainless. It's ready to go pretty much out of the pot. Like you
Yeah.
can thin it down, but don't have to.
Which is so interesting because one of the guys we paint with a lot, who he's an incredible painter, he's won prizes for it. Like, dude is amazing. He hates Pro Acryl because he loves to thin his paint super, super thin. And Pro Acryl doesn't really like that unless you like try to use their mediums and stuff, which I love their mediums, but so he's not a fan of it, but I'm like, dude, at our level where we're just trying to do like good looking armies, win a best painted at an RTT. I'm not trying to win a golden demon out here.
Yeah.
This stuff is great. What up, Sunshine? He is in fact painting an orc. I think
What's up,
we're
Sunshine?
I think we're gonna get him to paint a whole orc army
I,
with
I,
the new edition.
I very much intend to. I have plenty in the garage. I've actually, so when I got this guy from the shop, first thing I did was run out into the garage, into the old pile, and pull out the same orc boy. A little different. He doesn't have a grenade, but like it's the same orc boy. Like it was definitely been sitting around in my pile since 8th edition. I think orcs were actually gonna be my second army, and I had a decent amount, and like the thought of painting 30 boys, let alone the 60 that I bought, just couldn't do it.
I totally get that, man. It's one of those things that always felt daunting for me, trying to like paint a whole army, especially considering, I mean, you and I talked about this the other day. Like we're both players who like infantry. We like a lot of people on the field for our armies, and that can get pretty crazy. Like right now, if you want to with Marines, you could have easily 60 or 70 Space Marines on the field.
Oh yeah. Like when I first started playing, I played Tau, and I had a lot of devilfish, but really, or hammerheads, they're tanks. But like really what I had was I would bring 60 like of their base infantry, and you just pour on weight of dice. And that was really effective in 8th edition, but like
Yeah.
it was I also liked it. Like I was playing like guard Tau. Like
Always use master before even using paintbrushes. What do you mean?
she'll play what's fun tip. Always use master before. Yeah, I'm not quite following that, Cause King, but welcome. Thanks for joining us. Master before even using paintbrushes. Yeah, definitely gonna have to explain that to me. I'm not quite following.
And Sunshine, you're right. I am resisting the urge to buy a couple of the new starter box to get those orcs because those orcs are really pretty.
Oh, and we don't have music going. Let's get that rolling here. Let me know if that's coming through for everybody. A little lo-fi chill for us here, brought to us by Creator Mix. A little shout out for their copyright-free music that they let me use. And yeah.
Hello, Ray. We are attempting to be chill.
With own oil fix on the brushes.
Oh, you mean like using like something to take care of your brushes?
Oh, yeah, you're definitely right. Like, if that's what you mean, it's like cleaning your brushes before using them the first time. For sure. Like, they come with something on them a lot of times. So you gotta, like, rinse them and clean them and use a great product. Like, the Masters Cleaner and Preserver. I probably should have grabbed one that you could actually read the title on, but that's how long these things last. Like, the soap inside lasted longer than the case is printing. Like,
Yeah, I've got the same stuff here, and then I've also had the cleaning goop that Monument makes.
okay.
I think they just threw it into one of my boxes once when I bought their entire paint line.
That's fair. Like, and that's kind of legit. Like, that's another nice thing about Monument is they are, like, it's not like necessarily the number one concern for me, but like, it is nice that they're made in the U.S. by a local company. Like,
Mhm. And they seem pretty cool. They do their own painting streams, and they'll teach people how to use them. And then I saw with their new paint line that came out, I picked it up. I haven't had a chance to play with it yet. The One Step. People were giving reviews, and I saw them come out on their Instagram, and they were like, "You're not applying it thick enough. That's why you're having these problems. This
they're
paint
trolling
is."
people's streams. That's awesome.
Yeah, they were like, "This paint was meant to be slopped on. Slop it on thick." And then when people did, they were like, "Oh, it does cover."
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
I
were like,
was just wrong.
"Stop thinning our stuff, God."
So just 70% ISO. Yeah, there's definitely lots of ways to do it for sure. Honestly, I've with a good enough brush, like so I got these Masters Sable brushes. They're not top end. They were like I think they were like $20, like for three. Not terrible. But I've been using them since January. I actually looked it up on the videos to see where I started. And like they're still great. I don't brush soap them every time by any means. Just water, swishing, wipe it off on a paper towel, and they've held up great. Like, so it is a little bit about the brush. Like, synthetics will hold up just fine. Like, especially if you baby them a little bit more. But yeah, like I was using earlier today. Like, oops, we'll give the light a whack. Like I was using just this big old synthetic one, and like you can see, like there's a good tip on that still. I haven't used it a ton, so it hasn't cupped or anything, but
Yeah, I ended up. I tend to become a fanboy of a brand and try out all the stuff they have. So I've been using Pro Acryl's Sable brushes, and I try to take care of them as good as I can. But I'm aggressive sometimes. But they're in good shape. I've been using them for a couple of years.
like that's huge because you paint in bulk. So like a couple years of painting for you is not a small amount of painting.
Yeah, I do tend to not paint and then be like, why don't I do like 3 armies in the next 2 months? And then I wonder why I get burnt out. I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, that's part of what I'm at tonight was like I've been jamming on Dark Angels since the start of the year, like just nonstop. And I was ready. I've been like itching to do some orcs, and this contest was just a great excuse. So we'll just get a little bit done on this guy, so I can say I did get an idea of where we're heading. I'll finish out those other guys, but
Yeah, I almost picked up one of the orcs too. Just because I was like, man, that sounds like fun because I paint so many Space Marines or Space Marine equivalents, but they had the sergeant, he was posed kind of cool. I
yeah.
was like, that guy looks pretty dope. Maybe I'll paint him up as something funny. Speaking of, I should drill his bolter. His
Oh, yeah, I should do the same on this guy if it's gonna be in a contest. I don't like drilling stuff. I'm terrible at it, is one. I tend to go through the side of the barrels and fuck up shit. Like,
I totally get it. I've started. I'll make a pilot with my X-Acto knife.
that's a good
Uh,
advice.
to try to get in as close to the middle as I can, and I'm not perfect about it, but and I don't think it's something people have to do. Like if you don't want to do it, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like
I
we had
also
that
think it's
conversation.
something like do it or don't do it too. Like,
Yeah, like we had a conversation in our Discord the other day. People were like, "Drill your fucking bolters," and I was like, "I mean, if you want to, I agree. Probably in most cases, I think it does help, but it's your army." Oh, they do cause. See, I was trying to watch some of the live stuff today, but I've been so busy writing a paper that I kind of got distracted and wasn't paying attention. And then when I was watching, I love GW. They suck at live streaming, man. When you literally bring in guys whose job is live streaming, and you're like, no, 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 we're gonna do it our crappy way. It's kind of frustrating. Um, but I saw the only thing I saw was they said that if you have both infiltrate and scout, you cannot do both. You can only infiltrate or scout, which Donnie and I were discussing that briefly. Like, that makes sense to me.
yeah, you don't really need to be moving twice past your own deployment zone before the game even begins. Like,
Yeah.
I do like, I don't know how I feel about the indirect because, like, on one side, I have three blight haulers, like, and I'd love to play that list. It hasn't been good since I bought that army, but 11th like indirect fire, like it's one of those feel bads in the game that like it's not fun when somebody drops a basilisk in the opposite corner of the game and like cool, can you chew through 6 Lehman Russes to get to the basilisk that's gonna shell you the whole game? Like I get it, like it is part of the game, it's part of war, like it makes sense that it's there, but it can be frustrating in the game.
That's kind of how I am about it. But the problem is, it's to me, it's always been kind of like Imperial Knights and stuff, where they are either completely broken or they feel completely worthless. And it's the same thing with indirect fire. Is it's
Yeah,
either this is super good and everybody is running it and it's pounding the game, or why would you ever run that?
right. Well, and it's usually problematic too that they did it with the blight haulers. Like you're not what causes that frustration, but it's one of those things that like they couple it with a nerf to indirect fire, and they hit you with a points increase, and now there's no point in running blight haulers, or I'm not saying not blight haulers,
Like
plague
Bush
burst
Crawlers.
crawlers, because they're so expensive. Like, so even with like, there's a whole detachment designed around running indirect fire that nobody uses because it's just not good enough. Like,
Yeah. And the problem is by the time it is good enough to run, now everybody runs that because, oh, you mean I can run something that kills people and doesn't have to interact? Yeah, I'm going to do that. And no, Sunshine, you're just good at the game, bud. You play efficient lists that run good things, and if indirect fire is good at that time, you'll run it. It makes sense. Nothing wrong with it. I sometimes decide to intentionally nerf myself because I think something is silly and I don't want to play it.
yeah, we were talking about that at lunch today. How like I'm at this point where like I don't even make lists with any forethought of like what the list does to a certain extent. Like I've gotten better at it, but like my list building starts with I just got this and I want to bring it. Like how do I build a list around it? Like
Yeah.
and that's where it goes. And it's not necessarily good, but it feels fun. But
So
it's
do you
all
use
about
a
what you get out of it.
punch to help? I hadn't thought about that. Trying to use a punch or something like that to help me start the holes.
See, and I was thinking like a nail tap, like where you just have the spring loaded tap used for putting pinholes in them, starter holes.
Yeah.
Um, but you know, I really think like there's a million ways to skin that cat. Like, see if we can horrify one of our European viewers with that term and phrase. Oh, but I'm way off camera. Yeah, but you're smart is the difference, Sunshine. Like, and no rules. Whereas I'm just like, ew, it's pretty. Like it took me all of 10th edition to start running Sternyard. They've been broken the whole time. Like, so, Cobb, what are you? You know, that's legitimate. I didn't even think of that. That spring might be a little bit much on the boom on the glue, just pow, and that thing shoot across the room. I could totally see that happening. Call, what kind of army do you play? I think we've talked about it before. I don't know.
I like turtles. Whenever somebody says I like something, that's what
I like turtles.
I like turtles. So, do you think it's un-American to be in a foreign country for the 250th anniversary of our nation on July 4th?
No.
Because I think I might be in Bermuda on July 4th.
Oh, really? That's awesome. That's one of the
Yeah.
places I still want to go to in the Caribbean is Bermuda.
Hey, man, I'm taking a cruise in July. You want to come?
Um, I think my vacation money is spent for the year, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's where I was with ACO. I was like, I don't know if this is gonna happen, but we found one that's cheap enough that I my credit should do it. So yeah, call. I think most of us who play Imperium just play all of the Imperium. Um, I've technically got a box of Krieg on my wall right now, but I haven't been playing. I haven't started assembling them. That box at Christmas just looked so cool. I had to pick it up. Donnie, I believe your camera just DC'd, sir.
You know, I knew I was forgetting something without Greg here to yell at me. Ugh. Let's go plug that sucker in and get this camera back online for everybody.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have to make
Grey
a
Knights
technical
are my favorite army lore wise, but seeing all the new Marines, I just don't want to pick them up until we get Primaris scale.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, why invest in a whole army just to have it get rebuilt a couple months down the road, or even a couple years? Like,
And I used to have sisters, but I don't like painting them. So
too
yeah, you get
small, or what's the?
yeah, small and fiddly. He said while picking up an entire Eldari army.
Yeah. Although Eldari's a little different in terms of their fiddliness. Like, they've got a lot of clean lines and things like that. So even on the small models, not terrible. Like, they don't have all the heraldry and crap that's draped all over Sisters.
Because I technically picked them up during COVID. I went over to our FLGS and bought an entire army to try to support them.
Alright. Phone is turned back on as I like start painting because my guppy brain already moved on from the fact my camera's out.
Have you decided? Are you going to keep playing Orcs or Death Watch for 11th edition Sunshine, or are you just going to wait till the edition comes out and decide then, like a smart person would?
Alright, I think we have camera again. Hey, I see it's on live now. All right, we did
Well,
good.
Cause King, I cannot imagine that Grey Knights would not be getting an update this edition. So that's what I'm hoping for. I've told my entire play group, like, I'm playing Custodes right now. I kind of like them. Although I was talking to a couple people earlier. Who knows? It depends on how much I get painted on these guys, like tonight during this painting session. Um, if I don't get far enough, I'm probably just gonna take my uh, Chaos Knights to the Atlantic City Open. I wish I could get my hands on a Paforian before then, because then I could say, "Screw your meta." Um, I'm playing a bunch of this giant monster whose name slips my mind. What are they called? Defilers. I'll be like, "That's cool. I'll kill two a turn. What's up?"
Does nobody in the club have one?
I think a couple people do, but I'd want it to match the rest of my army.
Valid. Because you do have a very good looking Chaos Knights army.
No,
And
man.
not like Chaos. Like, I mean, a lot of them, like, you get like a hodgepodge of Chaos Knights. Yours are all like this crisp, like off white. And yeah, it would stand out like a sore thumb not having one match that.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't see Sunshine. Like, play whatever the hell you want, man. Switch it up week to week. Just don't be like me and switch entire forces every week, buy new armies, you know. And you can't really call me a meta chaser because I still suck.
I just love that they use a resin press in today's day and age. Like, it's got to be cheaper to like get industrial scale resin printers, right? Like,
Yeah, that's fine, Sunshine. At the beginning, start with a bunch of stuff, figure out what you like, and then go from there, man. I'm totally with that.
you know, I think it's Scary, the Drukari player, who's like really nailed it for me in terms of like how to approach like collecting, building like armies, like learning to play better. Like, it's like just collect all the shit you think is cool, collect that army, and then it doesn't matter what the meta does. You just play what you've got, like, because you've got all the things to choose from, like, so you can actually set the meta. Whereas if like you chase the meta or even just build armies to like each time, like, well, okay, well, great, I built this army, but it's only good in this very select set of rules. Whereas like my Dark Angels or your Space Wolves for sure. Like, you know, it doesn't really matter what the meta does because you can go grab 7, 8 tenths of the army off the shelf at any given moment. Maybe you got to add 1 or 2 units, which is when you add that extra unit to your army.
Yeah. Yeah, it works out most of the time. I could do that, but I don't know. I like new pretty armies and stuff. For me, it's a lot of retail therapy. Okay, I've got my Space Marine and some basing material now.
Wait, Space Marine?
For the painting contest.
That quick, you got distracted off your custodes.
Yeah, he was sitting here by the desk, and I was like, if I want to paint him sometime in the near future, I need to base him. So I put some basing material on him to dry.
That was the first thing I did. Was I cut the orc off the base.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if this is against the rules or not, but like, I'm gonna start here.
Yeah, we were talking about that today, man. You haven't played your AdMech in forever. And I know it's one of your primarily all G-Dub's plastic armies, right?
which is which is a hell of a thing. Like, if you're gonna collect a plastic army and print the rest, to do it out of AdMech cracks me up. Like,
Seeing Chris's Death Watch makes me want to paint one of those Death Watch kill teams, man. They're so pretty.
I don't know that I'd love their shoulder pads. It could be just that his are so shiny, but like, I don't know, they just feel unnecessarily complex. But then again, I'm also not a lore junkie, and I know that Death Watch and lore are like hand in hand.
Cause I used to do that a lot, like the gluing and then painting and everything like that. But I switched to texture pastes a while ago. I used the GW ones for a little bit, but they're expensive, like everything they do. So I ended up switching to using AK Interactive and now Monument Hobbies, basing material, like their textures, and I dig them a lot.
Monument, if you're out there, want to sponsor the stream, just hit me up.
I just sponsor your boy.
You can just send me a set of paints. I will chuck my G Dub paints on stream, replace the whole desk with Monument. You just say the word.
And wow, nothing printed in your AdMac army, man. Wow. So you're sure you don't need any more AdMac? Because I know a guy who's got an army.
You've been trying to sell that army to me for like 3 years, man.
And dude, I've been trying to sell it to anybody who breathes air and likes this game. I have tried to paint it like 4 times, and every time I'm like, I hate this.
So what is it about that one?
They're so busy.
Yeah.
Like when every time you paint a detail, you find 5 more details.
I am liking the coverage on this. Like, let's see if I can get it to focus in there. Like, 2 coats. Like, it's just really clean on that green paint. So I'm starting here. I'm going to do camo green, and I'm going to work up yellow green, and then I'm probably going to mix in a little pale yellow paint here for, like, the brightest spots to push that yellow green up higher. So for stream here, like, these are the 3 paints I'm kind of using for the skins. We'll see how it goes. I'm hoping for kind of a really desaturated, like, yellowish green. Or maybe
should work out, man.
Oversaturated. I don't know what it would be.
And while that's true, Sunshine, you can still have him back. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people are really excited for that new Heavy Bolter squad in the box. I don't know. I just feel like half the times we get Heavy Bolters, they're a waste of time. But that's probably just me being salty from this edition. Just
Damage 2 was like the most useful thing on the planet, or useless thing on the planet in this edition. So much like minus damage, like. And I'm the worst about that, like, obviously, but. I don't love this chair, man. Like, it's not bad. It's super comfortable, but like the armrests, I think, are just a little long, and I sit back in it. I don't know. It's not a great painting chair, probably. It encourages me to sit back and paint, I guess. So that's probably actually good until I'm not on stream, or till I am on stream.
Well, Sunshine, that's because I changed the army I'm going to play like I change my underwear. At least once a week.
I think the answer there is Ray, yes. Like, it's hard not to paint them lore accurate because there's so much lore that, like, you can always match it to something, but, like, at the same time, like, there's a value to painting it matching the box art, for example, like, because then you know if, like, I just don't like this anymore. I want to get rid of it. Like, it's a heck of a lot easier to sell a Black Templar's army that's black and white than
Exactly. That's part of it. I mean, when you're looking at the base GW paint schemes, you're dealing with people with art degrees who chose really, really good color schemes for the most part.
yeah.
So they look good that way. But I think if it makes you happy, you should paint the army however in the hell you want. Um, but that's completely up to you. Like,
Also agreed.
I'm not going to come to a table and be like, well, actually, the 37th Division of the Imperial Guard. Like, no, man, you do you. If you want your guys to all be pink with neon green hair, like, shit and get, brother. It's your army.
I will say one of the most annoying games I've ever had was against a guy who made his own army, but, like, still was so adherent to the lore that every time, not just the first time, every time he rolled his dice throughout a 5-round game, the Emperor protects. I was like, I'm going to smash your face into your dice. Like,
Yeah, the big thing for me is just make it look like an army and make it to where I can clearly understand what you're playing, and I'm cool with it. When I look at down and I'm like, what is this? That's difficult. And that's one of the only problems I have with 3D printing sometimes is sometimes it makes complete sense. You can tell what it is really easy. And then other times you're like, what is this? What am I looking at? But you could say the same thing about highly converted armies sometimes. Like my brother's Dark Mechanicum look really cool, but like if you were to take those to a major GW tournament, it could be a little bit confusing about what is this? Like he would have to have it approved before going.
so I've
It, was
been
a, it
one.
wasn't a shit execution, Sunshine. It's just a big army with a lot of guys. And you just got to keep painting to get better, man. Each time you paint an army, it gets better than the last one.
Yeah, as well as, like, that's a particularly challenging task for a good painter. I'm gonna paint a different scheme for every Space Marine. Like, it's taken me 1,000 frickin' Dark Angel models to, like, get to a point where I'm like, I'm happy with this, and I've still completely changed my scheme in just the last couple models I've
Yeah.
done.
I like the story for Metallica. I ended up going with a semi RZA style. Yes, like the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan. Um, I wish my army was the RZA. But I ended up going with more of a yellow. RZA is yellow, right? Or am I smoking
I have
the
no
ganja?
idea. That turned out pretty good. Just barreled that guy, no
Oh,
problem.
yeah. Pardon me. RZA is orange. And I wanted to do that, but I couldn't figure it out. So I ended up going yellow. It's up to you, man. Like, don't let people judge your army and be like, no, I don't really like that. Shut up. It's not for you, dog. Can you
and
tell what this guy is? Eat
and
me.
and even then, like, that's the biggest, like, trap is like, oh, I'm not gonna paint it good enough. I'm gonna save this guy till I'm a better painter, or like, this army's not gonna look good. Like, whatever. Paint on the model better than no paint on the model every time. Doesn't matter how good or bad you are at painting. All right, I think Yet again, finding more spots to paint. Like I saw a dude painting the Gravis Captain out of the Space Marine box. He's like, I wasn't a good enough painter. Now this model's like old shit, like compared to when I got it. Nobody gives a crap. I guess I'm good enough to paint it now. Like, he's like, I'm an idiot. Like, I could have been enjoying this model for 2 years now, and instead I left it in a box because I didn't feel good enough to paint it. Like, it is so easy to strip a model if you don't like it. Like, go for it. You're gonna only get better.
I agree with the airbrush cause. It's something that I need to use more. I've had a setup forever, but I had so many bad experiences with my first airbrush that it just turned me off to it forever. And every time I'd work up the guts to try again, I would have another terrible experience. Um, so I had somebody convince me or try to convince me that spending the money on an expensive one, getting a Steiner, one of the German made ones, is worth the money. And going through their website, I mean, it is their website, right? So they're going to talk you into it. Um, the way that it quick tears down for cleaning, and the fact that you can completely rip it apart without a tool to fully clean it, um, kind of made me go,
Yeah, that's one of the big parts for me is like the maintenance of that tool. So like firstly, I'm not gonna have an easy ready to use setup. Like I just don't have it in my space right now to like have a permanent one. So that means I've got to take the effort to pull it out, get it ready to go. And then I've got to properly fully strip it down, paint, clean it, put it away every time I use it. Like as much as I'd like to,
is this really going to save me any time? The answer is it will. It's just going to not feel like it.
yeah, it definitely will save me time, but it's also a factor of will it actually make me a better painter too? Like maybe it'll give me some tools in the toolbox that I don't have right now, but in general, I don't know that it really will. I feel a lot of time like airbrush models look awesome until you start looking at them. And then
Well,
you're like,
Sunshine, yeah. And then when you start getting close, you're like, oh, this is just a one trick pony.
yeah.
Like,
It's that you have volumetric highlights. They're not related to anything on the model, but
yeah. Sunshine, any army together immediately looks 3 to 4 points better. Like maybe if I picked up one of your minis, or if you picked up one of your minis and was like, yeah, this is like a 4 out of 10, you say that. You put 2,000 points of it on the board, it at least goes to a 6 or an 8.
yeah,
Because
100%.
a whole army together looks great.
So like I would say at our last RTT, like there was the AdMech player playing, and he just had all his army painted. And like that was enough to be like, wow, that's a lot of models that all match each other. And so
Yeah.
you're like, wow, this looks really good. Now again, you started looking up close at things, and you're like, okay, no, there's not a lot of detail here. It's not like there's no shading or blending or highlighting. Like, it's not great. But again, you put a whole AdMech army on the table, have it look semi-coherent. It looks pretty good. Like, it definitely, and it's just more fun to play against something like that. Like, it's way like I got to play against probably one of the best painters in our group, and his Tyranids last time, and like that was an awesome army, two armies to see on the table. Like I had my super well painted Dark Angels prowling out on the field with his super cool bugs. Like it feels good. Like that's
Yeah.
why I'm here. Like
Yeah. And then I can make the pew 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 noises in my head.
exactly. I 100% have at tables and been like, oh, I'm an idiot. Like
Yeah, I agree. It's better for like large flat stuff and batch painting and like stuff like that. But I've also seen some pretty amazing detail done with airbrushes. Because like what I'm doing right now with these cloaks, if I had left the cloak separate or put uh, some goop to like protect these guys, I could have done these cloaks in an evening, probably. I will say this purple is looking really good though. It's pretty crazy. It's like for thousands of years humans chose to put gold and purple together because they look good.
Yeah, there's a reason why it was always the coolest
Yeah.
combo.
Well, that and because historically speaking, purple was always the most difficult to make, so it was the most expensive. So it was also showing off that you had the monies.
Yeah, that's why the was it the Phoenicians, right? That was like their whole empire was trading purple dye around the Mediterranean Sea
Yeah.
back ancient times. Like,
Yeah. And it's why the Praetorian Guard wore purple. Because those guys were rich from selling the empire so many times. You still out there, Ray? I saw Grogu and or Mandalorian and Grogu.
oh yeah, that's a good point. Who else has seen that? I think it's one of the first times for like a Star Wars movie release that I'm not like in a rush to go to the theaters.
Well, Ray, the movie was 2 hours and 15, almost 2 hours and 30 minutes. The first 90 minutes was pretty solid. I enjoyed it. And then it came and I was like, cool, this is this is only an hour and a half. I was expecting it to be longer, but this is a solid place for it to wrap up. Oh, there's more. The first half was the Mandalorian, the back half was the Grogu, and the Grogu part didn't need to happen. Um, Additionally, a buff Hut is really weird.
A
The way
buff cut.
yeah, and the like, he's like fighting in a gladiatorial arena and has to like roll towards people, and it was weird, man. Um,
Like I've always in the lore, the Huts were like extremely powerful, both like physically. Like it's a whole
yeah,
thing. Like young Huts are very powerful creatures, but like that's not the same thing as saying they're buff creatures. Like
yeah.
a hippo is a strong creature. He ain't cut. Like
Well, this was a young Hut, but he was also jacked. I will say they had a a really funny or a really good reference to the original movie. Where in that arena where they're fighting, a bunch of monsters come out, and I paused for a moment and tilted my head, and I looked over at my brother and I said, "That's all of the monsters from the 3D chess that Chewbacca played in the first movie."
that's kind of cool.
And Ryan,
That's nice.
yeah, Ryan was like, "What?" And then when we got home, or on the drive home, he looked it up and he's like, "Yeah, that was every creature from that," which was cool. Like I'll give it that. And like I said, there was just multiple times when I looked over at him and I was like, "Why is this scene in the movie? This should have been on the editing floor."
Like, and it's bad when the audience can say that. Like, did the director not watch their own movie? Like,
Well, like there's a scene where Mando needs to get into a door that's completely non-consequential. Like he doesn't have to fight to get through the door or anything. But the way he gets through it is he stands with his back against the wall, and Grogu climbs up the wall, climbs through a little hole, and then the door opens. And that's it. It's like a 2-minute scene that I was like, why are we here? What is the point of this?
yep.
But yeah, Ray, chess nod was totally cool. Like I said, like that part of the movie, that first hour and a half was great. I enjoyed it. The fight scenes were cool. It was cheesy and over the top, and Sigourney Weaver dressed as a Jedi pilot or as a rebel pilot was cool. Like it was good. It was just when it came to a natural conclusion, they were like, "Oh no, this isn't long enough yet." And then the arbitrary, "Oh god, we paid Pedro Pascal a lot of money. We better put his face in it."
To be fair, that's always been a weird part of it. Is like, why did you hire such a like marketable actor to play this role with no facial recognition? Like, it's like Hugo Weaving in V for Vendetta. It's like, who the hell is that guy?
Yeah,
Why is his voice so good? Like,
I think you're right, and it's the same thing with like the little guys who were in one of the recent Star Wars movies. The little guys that like fix vehicles and stuff, and they all talk weird. Like they're cool, they're cute, but there was way too much of them in this movie with interacting with Grogu. Um, there was another cool bounty hunter that like beats up the Mandalorian and then just okay, well he's gone now. I don't know.
so let me ask you this: did it feel like, why is this a movie instead of another season of the show?
Honestly, it yeah. And honestly, the like the first hour and a half of it felt like you could have just done an hour and a half, hour and 45 minute episode and been done.
Like,
The
I think
okay,
that's why I'm kind of like not like overly enthused. Is it feels like a made for TV movie? Like,
yeah.
it's a TV show. Like, I watch Star Wars movies because they're Star Wars movies. Star Wars shows have got a very fond place in my heart. Like, there are some good ones. Andor was awesome. Mandalorian was awesome. It's had its come and goes. Ahsoka had its good and bad. Like, obviously, the Clone War cartoons have a lot of good in them and stuff. But, I wouldn't go watch it. Well, that's not true. I would say I wouldn't go watch a Clone Wars movie, but I did go watch. I at least rented the two Clone War movies.
Yeah, the Aunt Dillons, they're cute, but like I don't need this much of those tiny men going, no, don't do it. Like it was just weird. But the 6 year olds in the theater seem to really like them.
Yeah, and that's part two to remember is like, what is their goal of this movie? Like, who is their target audience? Grogu feels like, you know, always was built to bring in kids and people that like cute nonsense pets. Like, why doesn't Amy like it?
Okay, let's get a bigger brush because now I'm going to put purple onto my tanks, and I'm not doing this with a size 2 brush.
Doing tanks with the size 2 brush. Yeah, that sounds painful.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and get out a 4.
So I will say, I use the number one probably the most, but like 1 and 2 is what I bounce to. But like, I think that big one I pulled out earlier, anytime I gotta do basing, yeah, 7. Like,
I typically paint with a 3. And then I um I do my 2 for my details, and sometimes if I have to, I'll drop to a 1 or a 0, but that's pretty rare. Like I'll do eyes with a 2. Um, and I really prefer using a 3 because it stays wetter longer. That's what she said.
Yeah.
So it just makes it easier to control the brush and my paint. Because I'm a pretentious painty guy. I paint things.
That's why we're here, though.
And right now I'm just practicing that volumetric highlights, but with a brush.
Yeah.
And then I just go in with a glaze to kind of like bring all the sides back down so it all looks okay. Yeah, so I don't understand the Star Wars fans like knocking this like it's the worst thing to happen to Star Wars. Because I definitely don't think it was like, oh God, why did I go see this? I was just like, oh God, why wasn't this an hour and a half? But I would also say you are not missing anything by waiting for Disney Plus. Because there wasn't really any like huge space battles or anything that you're going to really lose a lot of by not seeing it in the theater.
All right, chat. I need a little help here, or Chris, or whoever. So we've got brown, dark brown leather for the belts, the boots. The hell do I paint the rest of this stupid vest? It looks like it's some kind of scrappy leather. Maybe an ivory?
I mean, you know, I'm an Ivory fanboy, so
So if I go ivory on the top, then what do I do on the pants? Maybe a just a black leather, just darker.
that'd probably work.
Yeah, give it a shot. Let's see here.
Or you go crazy. They are orcs. Like, you could just throw color in there, man.
Yeah. So I've done blue pants orcs before. It like they're just a little too silly.
Too much?
Yeah. Blue is also a color that's easy to like. I feel like lose it. Like it gets really saturated. Like blue is really blue. It's probably also
I
something I should paint more.
I agree, Ray. I don't know why movies have to be that long. Like a 90-minute movie, a well done 90-minute movie can be great, and you don't need a ton more than that most of the time. So, have we learned anything else about 11th edition from these live games? I saw some of the missions, which look interesting.
I'm interested to see how the picking your own mission. Like I like that a little bit. Like cuz not you can't always play the mission everybody else is playing.
Yeah. Well, it seemed it's based on what I saw. It's completely based on who you're playing. So it's based on like they have words for it, but it's also color coded. So it's like I'm playing teal, you're playing yellow. So yellow has to do this, teal has to do this.
Okay. So it's not as like wide open as it maybe originally sounded.
Yeah, it's going to be completely based off of your opponent. And then based on that, there will be a couple of different terrain layouts that they will recommend. Which is why you're going to have to add time to every tournament, because everyone is going to have to set their terrain before each round.
We'll see. I feel like that's one of those things we've all come to appreciate in
Yeah.
10th is not wasting a fucking half hour before we even start playing.
Did anybody do anything fun for Memorial Day?
Yeah, barbecues. What do we have going on out there? I didn't work and got some good Mexican food with Chris here, so
Hmm.
it was a win. But if you are a veteran out there, thank you for your sacrifices. I am a big proponent of support the troops. You don't have to support the army. Like if you, it's they're not synonymous. Like
Yeah, I'm proud to be an American. That doesn't mean I love my government.
exactly. I may not agree with what the army does, but I respect the people that are having willing to sacrifice for the country for whatever their reason may be.
Yeah, I was pretty stoked to find that, see that picture of my grandfather yesterday. I thought that was pretty dope.
I think I've shared with you my cool like World War II grandfather photo where he's like on a motorcycle, like riding through Europe somewhere. I was like, man, that dude is way cooler than me.
Amy peanut butter. That sounds delicious. And yeah, it's been raining off and on here for a couple of weeks now, for a hot minute now.
I think it's supposed to still keep raining for a couple days. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna love it. Greg's gonna show up out here from the desert that is Colorado, even in the spring, and be like, "Holy Christ, it is a jungle!" Like when he was out here last fall, like it was nice, like but the leaves were changing and stuff. Like most of the stuff had kind of chilled out, but like we're a temperate rainforest, like, and you can tell, like when you go outside and like the rain clouds are like halfway down the mountainside and like there's 18 different colors of green
Yeah.
anywhere you look. He said he's in Missouri. Okay, so he's going that way. Okay. I was like, where in Missouri is he that he's coming here?
So he's going the northern route.
Going to St. Louis and then
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
St. Louis, he'll pass through Indianapolis. That's how Ryan would always go back to Kansas.
Colorado, you really have two choices. You can either go like that way, or you can come in from like the Nebraska side, and it's either way, it's a hellacious drive across there.
Now, where in Colorado was he?
He was on the Eastern Plains, kind of northeast
Okay.
Colorado.
Okay, because I was gonna say, like, if he was coming all the way from Denver to make it all the way to St. Louis, like, hell yeah, dude.
I mean, it's pretty much like, yeah, he would have had to drive down to Denver pretty much, probably cut across a little bit, but
Still, he was moving. Made good time.
Yeah, I think he's got it planned for 3 days, which is a lot longer than I've ever done it in, but like a lot smarter, especially
Yeah.
when you're hauling a U-Haul and a bunch of people.
Ray, you're gonna have to clarify and tell us what's thick. Because that's kind of
Because if you're
weird.
talking about this orc, you are correct.
Thick is how I like my orcs. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, orcs are always dummy thick.
Out here, double cheeked up on a Tuesday. Uh, it's Monday, whatever.
I'm gonna be so off all week, especially because I worked Saturday. Like, I got no idea what day it is.
Dude, it's gonna be so weird tomorrow, and I'm guessing I'm not gonna have any students because we're still stuck in the tech center because everything is broken.
Oh yeah, your air conditioning's out in the whole campus, right?
Yeah,
That's so wild.
the whole main campus. Yeah.
I'm not convinced it ever worked in my store, so we're just used to that. They're like, it's cool, the air's out. We're canceling everything else on campus. You can still open though if you want. Like,
The air's thick. See, I thought maybe you were talking about the peanut butter or
also a valid possibility of what was thick. But you are right. The air has been pretty thick. In fact, I'm sorry if y'all get a little noise, but I do have to keep the air conditioner on behind me a little bit. Let's see, how bad did that do? Oh god, it's so bad. Oh, maybe it's not terrible. Let me know, chat. If you're hearing my air conditioner really bad, you just say the word. Otherwise, we're
I
going
don't
to cool
hear it.
down.
Have you seen talking about thick? Have you seen the video of the guy who's being like arraigned for a crime? And they say uh the assailant said she is quote thicker than a bowl of oatmeal and like he does double finger guns at the camera because he's because he's so proud of himself. Uh,
I assume this is the guy being arrested doing
yeah,
this.
yeah, he had been arrested and they're like said quote as thick as a bowl of oatmeal and like he double finger guns at the camera like mm, hilarious.
All right, so people out there, what makes your friendly local game store great? We were talking about some things in like chat the other day, like selling bits or like commission models or like, just simply taking the time to get to know you like makes a big difference. But like, what do y'all look for in your friendly store?
honestly, like for me, it's little things like that, like taking the time to talk to me and knowing that you like something, knowing the army you play, being willing to hold stuff for you for a minute. Like when you're like, man, I really want this, but like I just can't do it right now. And they're like, yeah, no problem. I'll just put it on the shelf for you. You know, you just let us know when you want it and it's yours. Like little things that make you feel like you're part of the community instead of just a wallet.
Yeah.
It's nothing worse is feeling like they only care about when you're spending money with them.
Yep. Just little things like adding the teeth, like boom, pop so much. Like
Yeah.
I love little things like that in the model.
Yeah, when it takes
I'm
something
a
for
little
being like,
surprised about that, Ray. Like not even like board games or anything, or even like a like it could be like a GameStop or something back in the day used to have that atmosphere a little bit.
Ray, you're the worst dork. You got to figure this out.
That's so funny. I love that in some ways Ray is like the biggest dork, but in other ways, like Ray is like not at all.
So Donnie says GameStop counts. I disagree. I
I
think
don't
if
think
it
it does anymore. I think it used to have some that did, like that used video game store had a community sense back in the day. I busted out this white with a definite purpose. Oh, I know what it was. Oh, that's instantly just not what I wanted to do. What too much. Because like I remember like this was even midnight release parties like even before that like this was back in Sega NES game days, maybe beginning of N64. Like we had a local like used game store and like it definitely was a thing. Like you'd go in there, they had like TV set up with the consoles. You could actually pop a console in and just see like one does it work, like what is this game all about? Like I'm gonna give it like 5 minutes and see if it catches my attention. Like a little bit of that original game mentality.
I mean, I remember some. I definitely remember midnight releases. I remember going to the Halo 2, Halo 3 release. Um, so like I remember that to a point. I never felt like GameStop was a third space for me.
That's fair.
Like I wouldn't go hang out there intentionally. I would go in and talk to people and like a couple of them I got to know the people behind the counter a little bit, but I was never like friendly with them. I never was like, "Oh my god, it's Steve. What's up, dude? High five!" Like,
Yeah.
you play
And
the
that
new
might have been
Zelda
an
yet?
age thing too. Like I don't think I ever got that way, but I did when I was like so I worked at a Blockbuster for a couple years in college and like there were definitely people I was that way with. But like at the same time like that was older, like you could make those connections, but like I definitely wasn't like that with the 14-year-old kids that came in. Like
And I remember distinctly for me, it was at my FLGS learning Warhammer. and stuff like that. And we started playing D&D there a little bit, but I played D&D with my friends from high school. So I never had to like um go down there and like meet a new group for D&D, which is partially why I'm a D&D snob. Um I don't like playing with random people. I like people who are intentional and like are there to role play and care about their characters stuff like that. Because there were some dudes. My FLGS when I was a kid, they don't exist anymore. Was called Blue Horse, and until they closed, and then I started going to Agents of Comics, and uh, Blue Horse had some weird dudes there. And I say that with love, like I'm a weird dude. It is what it is, but like we're
There's
sitting there as like I'm like a 16, 17-year old kid, like playing D&D with my friends, and they're like talking about some really stuff they should not be talking about around kids on another table. Um like, oh, is she hot? Like, dude, you're role playing with a 40-year-old man. What is your deal?
yeah. I mean, the '90s were weird.
Okay, well that was the aughts, but
Still, it carried over.
because I was 17 in 2005. But yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. Like, it was definitely a different time. Because like that's when my parents finally gave me a cell phone because I was driving around town to go play Warhammer and stuff. And that's when I went to go play D&D with my friends across town, and we do all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I was talking about it earlier today. Like the first really like shop that I was like, this is my shop. Like where I go was in Michigan, and like I'd drive a long ways to go. Like it was an hour drive each way because I lived in the middle of fucking nowhere. But like I'd get to the shop, and like the owner was awesome. Like he knew who I was. Like he'd helped me like build my army out from like the beginning. Like learn to play the game, things like that. But like at the same time, his shop was kind of a shithole. Like
Yeah,
unfortunately, and like I'd love going there, but like at the same time, like I didn't like.
but and I remember the first shop I went to, or the second shop I went to, Agents of Comics. The guy behind the counter there, the first time I went there, the reason I never really went back is because the guy there, when I came in, I was like 15, and my dad was like trying to find me a place to play Warhammer. And I was like, "Can I play here?" And he's like, "If you buy something." And my dad was like, "Well, fuck this place." And
Yeah,
I was totally with him on that. And then when I went in later, that guy had sold the store to a chiropractor. And that guy had hired this dude who was super cool. And the dude did professional painting. And so he would teach people to paint. But that guy was also part of a group of reenactors for the Ren Fair called like Heavy Metal or Real Steel or something like that. And they fought in full armor. So like I got exposed to the SCA and Ren fairs and miniature painting and D&D, and there's a bunch of really good artists in there. That's the first time I ever played Vampire the Masquerade.
yeah,
Like that was a cool shop. Um, it's closed now, but a friend of mine, well, a guy, I won't call him like it's not like he and I were close, but I knew him. Uh, he ended up buying it and renamed it, and I've thought about I'd like to go visit. Um, my brother went and visited and said that he's got a really cool spot now, which is nice. Always got to support that FLGS, man.
yeah. I mean, it's important, like having
Yeah,
that space.
And that's one thing, I love our local shop, but it's not a place that I feel like going and just hanging out at.
Yeah, they haven't quite figured that out. Like, and part of it is that, God bless them, they're always busy as fuck. Like,
Yeah, they're always busy and it's small.
yeah. So, like, if you go in there, it's like, oh, if I go in there, there's a decent shot I'm running into a Pokemon tournament, Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic,
Yeah.
whatever, Warhammer. Like, that was one thing to say for the other shop, was they did have a lot of space, but then again, it was always loud as fuck on the same side.
Yeah.
Like, so it's a balancing act. Like, but that's what this space is here for. Y'all can just come out, hang out through the hobby side with us, go into the shop, support them.
Oh man. Oh, just getting old things pretty messed up.
Ain't it though?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've painted a million other things with Sandry dust. Let's just keep that trend going. Let's see.
We all fell back on our colors, man. That's where I am with dark ivory, ivory, and bright ivory for Monument. Those colors, man. That's where it's at, brother.
Like, it's one of those colors. It's like, this is a great starting point for pretty much, you can go light, you can go dark. What do you want to do? But we'll start with here.
The third space is important. Actually, like psychologically, it's important to have that spot where you can go to that's away from your house and away from your home,
Makes sense.
or and away from your work. It's something that I've been trying to focus on, get out some, especially with my brother probably joining the Navy. Like, I
Yeah.
need to not
Have
just lay here and wallow in pity.
have that outlet, that place that's like, yeah, I get it. That makes sense. It's part of what you lose in adulthood too. It's like your third space becomes work. Like, and that's not healthy. Like,
Yeah, not usually. I mean, I have been better about socializing at work because typically it's not something I ever did. I was like, this is work. Like, I have my friends at home or I have my friends elsewhere that I want to like interact with. Like, this is my job.
it'd be awkward if my coworkers found out what a dick I was.
Well, one of them, she found out that I'm a dork because I'm pretty open about it. Like, I'm not gonna hide it. This is who I am, and like, I
Yeah.
I am a nerd. What's up? But she found out, and her husband and her have been collecting Pokemon, and so she she started asking me. Apparently, he goes up to the shop all the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Like, it's
she
one of
was,
those things, like, as soon as you open up about it, it's like, oh, yeah, okay. Everybody's actually a
yeah,
nerd, as it turns out. Like,
and because she was talking to me about if I played Pokemon, and I was like, no, I don't play that. And then I found out I can play an all food Pokemon based deck, and you might have me. Um,
wait, all food Pokemon?
yeah, so there's a Pokemon named Fido. He's a dog made of dough, and he evolves into Dosh Bund,
Yep.
a Dosh Hound made out of cooked pastries. And then there's Hydrapple, which is just a candy apple with a bunch of snakes coming out of it. It looks like a Hydra. And his alternate form is something else I don't remember the name of, but it's apple pie. It's like cooked apple pie, and it is the dumbest thing. And I want to run that deck so bad I cannot tell you.
I'm like, so like when Pokemon cards came out, I definitely had a bunch. And like my brother actually had a bunch of really good ones that definitely got sold for like $5 at a yard sale at some point in the years. But like I never in a million years thought that game was gonna catch on. Like I was like, why would anybody play this stupid thing that they've got to buy a million cards for when you can just play the Game Boy thing? And, you know, if you want to play
Yeah.
together, you just battle your Pokemon. Like, but here we are, 30 years later, and that shit's huge.
Yeah, and like it is it's cool. I'm glad people are enjoying it. Like I'm never gonna knock anybody else's hobby. But yeah, when I found that out, I did a little bit of research on whether or not I was going to spend the time and money to build a food-based Pokemon deck. Because nothing would be funnier than me than the fat guy playing a food-based Pokemon deck.
Yeah, there's some fun to just playing with stereotypes, especially in the nerds third space. Like,
Yeah.
I used to always show up to the Warhammer tournaments. I have this great shirt. It's a Fortnite shirt, but like I've literally never played Fortnite. But it's got a llama cord on it. It's this giant freaking rainbow llama unicorn thing. It's got rainbows on it. It's like a purple shirt, and I am a very traditional looking white dude. Like, and I show up wearing this stupid shirt, playing a hyper violent dystopian game. And I just loved it. Like, nobody knew what to think of that. Like, it was great. All right. And we got some pants. Wearing some khakis. It's out to impress. Khakis. He's got his white shirt. He's wearing his best four belts, hopscotch style.
He's out here to impress.
All right. Well, you know, I haven't done our usual call, but we're at an hour and a half already, Chris. And I haven't once asked anybody. Click that subscribe button below for us. Feel free to share our content. We really appreciate it. I definitely, because I'm the shitty producer and Greg's on the road, don't have our Patreon linked below, but you can find it if you look for it and you're feeling that crazy. And you can join us in Discord and hang out, have fun with us all the time. Otherwise, I think I should be back Thursday. I don't know any reason why I won't be back here Thursday. Greg might even be joining me again. We'll see how quickly he can get set up and if he's up for it after moving out here. But Chris, it's been a pleasure having you the last couple weeks. That really makes the stream just so much better having somebody to chat with.
Well, I mean, I know I'm pretty amazing, so
You certainly are, sir.
I'm happy to be here and help out and chat about Warhammer and stuff, man.
It's
Give me an
definitely fun.
opportunity to paint a little bit and chat a bit about the Warhammers.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
and you know,
I don't think I'm.
I think that's what it's all about. Like just a little bit of time to hang out, chat, decompress, paint some bottles, have a little fun.
Yeah,
All
like
right.
that's a big portion of the game is just relaxing and doing the hobby.
Yeah, have fun. It's
Yeah,
what we do for fun. Look.
his only game. Well, you have to be made.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to try a new sign outline. So just put some paint on a model, get a little better. One model, one unit, one army at a time. And have a great night, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Bye.